Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. This is exciting, isn't it?
It's exciting, yeah.
Welcome to the very first episode of That's What Geeks Do.
Woo.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy we're
I
finally doing
am
this.
so happy. This has been like 5 years in the making.
My name is Chris Lee, everybody.
My name is Jackson.
And this is like the title suggests. We're geeks, and this is what we do. This is just our podcast to geek out, to nerd out, anything about movies, music, entertainment in general, anything that we just, love in pop culture and whatever. And this is it. You're going to get this on a weekly basis. And we're just going to have some fun. We're just going to have some fun, right?
Yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about many things. Looking forward, in the world of geeks. So, yeah, I'm excited.
And hopefully this year we'll have a lot more to talk about because we tried doing this last year, but because of the pandemic and everything, a lot of things were pushed back. So we really didn't have much to talk about. But
that is true.
It's a new year, and after a full year, we finally have Marvel back again.
Yeah, it was like a whole year without Marvel. Like it was weird, It was weird because you were so used to it.
And we were so used to it because literally for 10 years, every year we had about 3 to 2 movies every year
at least.
And it just became literally part of our yearly tradition. Essentially, we have to go watch a Marvel movie. And today we're going to be talking about Marvel's newest release after a year, and that's WandaVision. And we're gonna be talking about both episodes, the first and 2 episodes, because they released both episodes on its first day.
Yeah.
And can I just say, that's just listening to the fanfare of the Marvel logo. I got goosebumps, my dude.
Yeah, I was grinning all the way through. It's been so long since I've heard that for a new piece. And I just wanted to say before we start, if you haven't seen the episodes, which I hope you have, but if you haven't seen it, we're probably going to talk spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so real quick.
Yeah.
So let's do this real quick. Non-spoiler review, just real quick. It's great. I loved it. Go check it out. That's it.
Yeah.
So now spoilers from now on. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just starting. So okay, I guess we should make like a recap, I guess. So WandaVision is, from my understanding, it takes place after Endgame, and it takes place after all the events that occurred. We know that Vision was essentially murdered by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War all the way back in 2018. And then we literally haven't seen or heard from Vision since. He was roughly mentioned at the end of Endgame, but besides that, we didn't see him, we didn't get a flashback, we didn't hear, there was nothing of him, and this is the first time since 2018 that we see and hear him again, right?
Yeah, and I think how many years has passed since Infinity War and Endgame?
So between Infinity War and Endgame, that was 5 years.
That's 5 years, right? So,
and I'm assuming this is probably a year or so afterwards. I don't know what the timeline is, but I'm assuming it's a year at least. So that occurred, and like I said, we haven't heard from Vision since Infinity War, and we know what that one that came back at the end of Endgame. She's alive at well. But the last time we saw her, if I'm not mistaken, was when she was talking to Hawkeye by the river, right? At the end of Endgame, where they were talking about Natasha Romanoff dying and Vision dying and how they'll live in our hearts or whatever. But I think that was the last time we heard about it, and then just seeing them again made me so happy. It made me so happy.
It did. Of course, it's not a traditional thing when you see a series of superheroes. You think you're gonna see maybe some action and some context of where are they and what happened, but instead you're seeing something totally new from Marvel, and I think it worked a lot because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a lot more context later on, but this first 2 episodes were so entertaining and funny, and I think they were really good. I didn't know was expecting,
Mhm.
and I think I received what I didn't know I needed.
And I feel this. I'm like studying. I'm starting. Okay. I am. I cannot speak.
Breathe.
just because I'm so excited. But dude, let me tell you. Let's go through the first episode
Yeah.
and then the second one, and then just like talk about each of them separately. So, like I said earlier, just starting off with the Marvel fanfare, like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Dude, oh, I was so happy just seeing that Marvel logo and the characters and the music. That alone,
Yeah.
and it also made me feel like, oh, this is a series, but it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely connected to the MCU on like the Netflix shows.
Yeah. Which you think you never thought you'd see that. Like
No.
2 years ago, we would have never thought that we would see like series that would connect directly to the MCU. And
Yeah.
yes, I think we had Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all that, but it was so sketchy back then. We didn't know. We wanted to see them, but
Yeah, it was
nothing was
like,
said.
do we reference it? Do we not reference it?
Yeah.
Do the events like correlate? And we had Agents of Shield, but even then, that felt detached from the actual MCU
Yeah,
most of the time.
I know a lot of people say it's good. I haven't seen it, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah,
Have to
no,
check
it's
it
just. I guess it's just like the theming of it, and just I don't know. It wasn't for me, you know. But going back to this, so essentially, what the show is about is that we have no idea what the show is about.
We have no idea, but a lot of things happen. I guess if we have to put it in like a short sentence, it's about their relationship and
Yeah.
they're trying to fit in a way.
Wanda and Vision seem to be trapped in what seems to be a sitcom world,
Yeah.
and we'll get to more of that like after we explain the first two episodes. But going back to the first episode real quick, the first episode takes place in the 50s,
Yeah.
and dude, it was so good. I was so impressed, and because of the following, they had a theme song.
Yeah. They have a
Like-
theme song. The
And
production design is beautiful.
yeah, like you would think that they maybe just had like the set design, and like maybe they'll be talking in like that accent from the 50s or whatever, using the slang from that time. But no, they went all out. The entire episode is 50s, like it's a sitcom. It's literally an episode from the 50s with Wanda and Vision.
Yeah,
like
and-
it's just straight up the music, the laugh track, the clothing, the talking, the way they spoke, everything.
Yeah, and I
was
think
so
they
good.
had so much fun doing this because it's something different. They're allowed to be their characters from Marvel, but in this era, and I think that's just so funny. And you wouldn't think it would work with these two because like you see Wanda and Vision, it's like whoa, but
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't imagine that. But I don't know. Elizabeth Olsen, first of all, I love you. Oh my goodness, but wow, she's so and Paul, they're both so great. They have an amazing chemistry, and
Yeah,
we
the
only,
chemistry was beautiful.
yeah, we only get
And it
to
was
see
so
so
great.
much in the movies, and now like we have a whole series, and
Yeah,
I just want more.
definitely.
I wish they would keep continues to drop 2 episodes per week, but I don't know if they're gonna do that.
It's one episode per week from
Yeah.
here on out till
Yeah.
March, I believe.
Yeah.
But like you said, like it's just their chemistry is beautiful, and they're so like they're so different. Obviously, because they're portraying these characters from the sitcom they're technically in, but they play it so well because you can still tell it's Wanda, you can still tell it's Vision, and they clearly had a blast, and you can easily tell that they enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
Like you can tell that this is where they were like, oh, we're gonna like put our acting chops into it, because it's not easy just acting like you're in the 50s while pretending to be a super powerful witch and a robot. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they do it so well, and I was so impressed by it. but and then the comedy itself, the comedy was so funny.
It was
because
so
it is
brilliant.
supposed to be a sitcom.
I have a joke, but I'm gonna wait till the second episode till we talk about it. Because I was not expect. I laughed so loud. It's super early, and I laughed like it was like 3 p.m.
Like like the comedy is so good, and and it's a sitcom. If you made a show about a sitcom and the jokes weren't funny, like if the joke itself was that it was just a sitcom, that would be pretty boring. But they really commit to everything. Like if this was made in the 50s, how would it be? And they did that perfectly.
Yeah, I don't. They
so much so that they even had a commercial break.
They did. It was so crazy, and the thing is, this could have gone wrong so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I think when a lot of people try to like recreate like the aesthetic of the 50s, they do it as in like we're in the present trying to be in the 50s, and like they're putting that in your face. But this was like, if no one knew for some reason that this was an actual show, and I would put it like, hey, see this.
Yeah.
This is from the 50s. I'm pretty sure they will believe me. Like, oh, yeah, it's from the 50s.
Yeah, 100%. And like, and that commercial break, like, it was Stark Industries. Like, they referenced Stark Industry over a toaster. The Toaster 2000 or whatever it was called. And that was just so cool. Like again, I just love that they committed to it, because this is something totally different and unique. And they said 50s, and then they said the special effects will look from the 50s, the clothing from the 50s, the commercials from the, like, it was just so well thought of, and
it's so
that
subtle.
Is just worth it.
And I think
and then another thing that I just really enjoyed was going back to the acting. They're living this life, right? Because one can assume that they're trapped in it, or at least Wanda might be, because we know that she's alive. But they sell that confusion, because the first episode is about they find out that there's a heart in August 23rd on their calendar, and they're trying to figure out what the hell does the heart means. And then comedy ensues, like sitcoms do. Like one person thinks one thing, the other person thinks another thing. But they kept going back with these questions of like, what day is it? Like, how do we get here? Like,
they
what
don't really know where they are.
Yeah, they were like really confused because they couldn't answer any basic questions. And there's a scene when the boss goes to their place, and the wife of the boss starts like asking them like, when did you move in? When did you get married? And then they just keep asking them. They're like, when did we move in? When did we get married? And that's I love that scene specifically, because that's when like we kind of like leave the sitcom bit, because even the camera angles move. You just get this sense of like kind of like dread and like confusion of like what's happening, and then you hear like the boss asking again like what's happening, and then he starts choking, and then Wanda looks confused as hell. And it's just like this mixture of like, okay, here's a hint, like here's like oh, what's happening? Oh, is this real? Oh, we don't know what's happening. And then it immediately cuts back to like the sitcom thing, you know what I mean?
And
like,
it seems like not only them are like in this fake world. I think everyone somehow is, because I mean, I think it happens more in the second episode, but when something strange happens, they're like, where am I? What is this? But then they go back to the normal world.
And you know what this really like reminded me of? The Truman Show.
It does, because you're seeing that there's some intervention, but
you can totally is literally they're trapped in essentially a TV show, and they're being monitored from somewhere else. And they showcase that at the end of the first episode, where like it zooms out from the end credits to a TV, and someone's like taking notes in the present time. One can assume.
That sign, I'm trying to figure out. I don't think we've seen that symbol anywhere. so far.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. I mean, I haven't seen it.
So before we move into the second episode, is there anything else you wanna say about the first episode? Because it was a great first episode. I love how much they commit. I love their chemistry. I love the reference to Stark Industries. I love the reference to Sokovia, to the Sokovia dress.
Yeah.
No, to the Sokovia greeting. The greeting. It's a Sokovian greeting. Like
the Sokovia. Yeah.
And it was just. Like, I loved it. It was just funny.
Think it was
heartwarming. It was like sad at the same time.
Yeah, I think it was a really great episode. And again, we didn't know what to expect. I said, this is so new, and it could have gone so wrong, and it didn't. I think it went perfectly, and I hope each episode just gets even better. So I really I really enjoyed the first episode, and I enjoyed the two of them. But for the first episode, I think it was a solid introduction of this new world, and knowing that they kind of know they do not belong there, but let's keep going.
And then it has this like mystery to it, of course.
Yeah.
And I love that there wasn't any fighting, because Marvel is known for like, fighting and explosions and CGI and all that jazz. And this first episode, and it seems for like so far the series, like strips all that away.
Yeah.
Like it's just mostly like character based. Like these are the characters, and they're gonna have the performance, and it's gonna be about them.
And I hope they keep doing that, because it's so far they're doing great.
So we're going on to the second episode now, which I highly enjoyed as well. It was super funny. I say funnier than the first one, but now we're in the 60s, and again they have a theme song for it.
And they have a theme song. And,
like it's the same theme song, but it's like the 60s like version of it, I guess.
Yeah. And they have the animation and the repetition of the title, WandaVision.
Yeah. WandaVision!
See, it was so it was catchy. I liked it.
So this episode is about them. The neighborhood has a talent show. And they're raising money for the children, as they say several times at the end.
Yeah.
And then what Wanda and Vision act is magic trick, because of course it's magic. And then we have Vision goes to a neighborhood watch meeting with the guys, and then Wanda goes to like a tea party of sorts.
I think it was
with Dottie.
Dottie, right? Dottie,
yeah. Because they're either like they're meeting each other, because Dottie seems to be like the main person of their neighborhood, that if you knew her, then the rest of your stay in the neighborhood will go well. And then there's a scene right there in the tea party, like after everybody leaves and there's just Wanda and Dottie, where they're like talking, and then you hear the radio. That's dude, I love that scene.
Yeah.
Where the radio just starts going off with like, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda.
And I was like, at the beginning I thought it was Vision, because he swallowed the gum. I was like, I think that's Vision trying to communicate. But then when the man started asking who's doing this to you, I'm like, whoa, who is that person?
Yeah. And then you have Wanda just like freaking out, like kind of confused. It's like, what the hell is happening? And then you also have Dottie reacting to it too.
Yeah,
like you would think Wanda's the only one that can see it, but Dottie's the only one. But Dottie can also hear it, and she was like freaking out and saying like, "Who are you?" Like as if they were in a trance.
Yeah.
And they were trying to like escape from it.
And then she breaks a glass she has on her hand, and she starts bleeding, and we see the red. Because so far, just 2 episodes are black and white. And you see the red, and I'm wondering like what is because the color that you most see in color, it's the red. You see it in the button, I think, in the Flash and the first commercial, I think. And then you see in the blood, and then you see on the face.
You also see it in the helicopter too.
Oh, the helicopter too, yeah.
She walks outside after hearing something, and then she finds a helicopter by the bush, and it's completely in color, like it's totally red, while everything else is still in black and white.
Yeah.
and you just like can't help but wondering like either, well, someone's clearly seems to be intervene in trying to have Wanda escape, and we'll get to our theories in a minute. But yeah, and then going back to what you mentioned a second ago about so Vision is in the neighborhood watch meeting with the guys, and there's this hilarious line where they're talking about eating, and then the Vision's like, "Oh, I don't eat food," and then he's like, "I don't eat food
in between meals,
mealtime or something like that."
In between meals.
Meal in between meals, exactly. Like Paul Bettany is so good. He's funny.
So great. He's like, I think he can do everything now.
And then they offer him gum, and then he's like, "Yeah, because you just chew it. You don't have to like swallow it or whatever." Because he's a machine. And then he accidentally swallows it, and it gets stuck in his gears in his stomach, and for some reason that makes him like drunk.
Yeah, I didn't. The thing is, I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like a breakdown, and he was not gonna function.
Oh, but yeah, me too.
That was so funny and creative and different. That's what I love this, because you think, oh, this is gonna happen, I'm gonna enjoy it, but then something else happened, and you enjoy it even more.
Like, so, he got drunk, like, and you would think that would happen, and then the rest of the episode would be like to try and figure it out, like, oh no, what's wrong? We have to help him, or like, oh, we have to get this out of you before something happens. But no, he was essentially just drunk.
And they went with it.
They did and then they did the talent show, the talent show, the magic show, and the talent show at the end, and it was just him entirely drunk. But the thing is, he was performing with his own powers. Like, he was flying. He was lifting up the piano. He was having the hat through the hat go through his body, and then Wanda was like freaking out because obviously they can't reveal themselves.
Yeah, how am I gonna fix this? And it was
so clever. It was so clever how every time she was like, haha, this is fake, it's a fake piano, or like there's mirrors in the back, Then it was just great. Again, it was so funny, and the chemistry is hilarious, and the comedy is so good. I don't know what else to say. And then at the end, she's pregnant. No?
Yeah, she's when they start saying for the children, and then she's pregnant, like maybe 3 to 4 months old. And in the comics, I know that she has 2 babies. I don't.
Yeah.
Babies, but yeah. And we've seen in the trailer that she has babies too.
Yeah, and then right after that, they hear. So throughout the episode, the episode starts with like a thump, not a thump, yeah, a thump, like
a sound,
like a noise coming from outside. And then at the end of the episode, they hear it again, and they walk outside, and then from the sewer, a beekeeper comes out.
Yeah,
like a beekeeper with a bee suit and bees literally around him coming out of the sewers. And then Wanda just says, no. And then it rewinds back. It
rewinds back to them like kissing, like for the children, and on they say, "We're gonna do this. Like let's do this."
And like, what?
Yeah, you're like, what's gonna happen?
Let's, like, real quick, if you haven't listen, if you're listening to us talking about this, is because you probably watched it. Otherwise, what would you be here 24 minutes in?
Or we spammed you because we want you to listen to us.
So you've seen the episodes. We enjoyed it, but now let's just get to the theories real quick. Do you have any theories about what's happening?
I think I have to process it first, like, and think who might be trying to either save Wanda from being somewhere, or who's controlling her. Because I have 2 questions. I have, who's the person who's like taking notes and watching the quote unquote the comedy, right, the sitcom, and who was the person that came out of the sewers, because we couldn't see neither of their faces really. And they have this symbol, which is, I've never seen that symbol before, because we do see in the second episode there's another commercial of a watch, and we see the Hydra symbol.
Yes,
which I think was interesting, because maybe Hydra's behind this. But really?
Or maybe it's just like a commercial thing.
Maybe
like,
just maybe just because Hydra has been for a long time. So yeah. So, but the other symbol, which I don't know what's that from. So maybe that's either an organization or a new group of people trying to save the world. I don't know. But I just want to be sure if she's either captive or she wanted to either go on a slumber and this is happening on her head, or somehow Vision said.
So my theory is that she's the one doing this.
Right? I think somehow I think she's doing this.
Because at the very end, when she says no and it rewinds back, like that makes me think that she's the one in charge to an extent. Like I feel like at that moment, because her facial expression like changed.
Yeah, she was like, "This is danger. I'm not gonna face this. I'm not gonna go through this."
He saw this man. I don't know if she knew who that man was, but like it just felt completely out of nowhere because he's a beekeeper coming out of the sewers with bees. So I don't think
at night
that means at night. I don't think that means something on itself. It just means that it just didn't belong there, and she didn't like that, so she rewinded a few minutes back. But I don't like. I believe that she's because. Oh my god, I'm going everywhere. But like, if we go back to when she first introduced in Avengers: Age of Ultron, she has the power to manipulate minds.
Yeah, she
and
can.
Have people,
she can, like make you
have
think
people and give people visions.
Yeah.
No pun intended. So like I have a feeling this has to be something to do with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she must either know that they're not in a like I don't think she has all the control like you said, but she does have some control of it. Like
yeah,
and I think
like I don't think she's fully aware. Like I don't like again like it was at that moment that it seemed like she snapped out of it and took control, but for the rest of it I don't think she's aware.
Yeah.
But again, there seems to be other hands at play. Obviously there's someone on the radio, the helicopter. What did that mean? Why was the blood, or why did Dottie react the way she did? Because she also heard the radio talking. Like obviously there's more to it, and we won't know.
And are these people actually real? You know, like are they real, or are they like figments of her imagination? Which I don't think. I think these are actual people.
And they say that this show will tie into the multiverse from Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I'm so excited. That's the most exciting thing I am of Marvel after the series.
Yeah. So there has to be like obviously more to it, and there definitely is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this first 2 episodes were completely great. I'm so happy to have Marvel back. Like I'm so excited. Like
weekly
it felt
now.
so giddy again. Weekly. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, right?
But yeah, man, no, this was great. Anything you want to say?
I'm looking forward to keep talking about this series. I think this is going to be one of the most unique, different experiences we're going to have on TV. Like, honestly, the TV media right now, streaming media, really, not necessarily TV, but I'm just kind of glad that I am in a place where I can enjoy this, because maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago, I wouldn't even thought of it. Because I was 8 years old. But.
Not even 5 years ago we could have imagined this.
Yeah, let's not go that far.
Because like we said earlier, we had the Netflix shows, the Marvel Netflix shows, and we had that, and we were like, well, I guess this is it. This is as far as we're gonna go with an MCU series.
And even though they were good, they were like we were expecting that. You know, we were expecting the show to be like that.
Yeah, we weren't connected to it.
Yeah, so now
it wasn't connected to the MCU.
Yeah, now I am very curious how they're gonna do the Loki series, because I know
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, because if they're taking risks
we're gonna have
with WandaVision, I'm pretty sure they're gonna take risks with the rest of the series.
Oh, 100%. But I'm also excited for oh my god, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I think I honestly, now we're talking about which series I'm more excited about. I wasn't as excited about WandaVision until now. I was like, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, I saw the trailers and I was okay, this is different. But then I saw the 2 episodes and I was like, whoa, okay, wait, this is. I'm gonna like this even more than I thought, and that really excites me.
I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening to us. This was great. We had a lot of fun with the episodes, and hopefully you did as well. If you enjoyed them, let us know. If you didn't, let us know why.
Yeah.
And what was your favorite part? What was your favorite scene or catchphrase that happened in this first 2 episodes? If you have any comments, questions, or anything else you wanna or advice for our next episodes, just let us know, and we'll read them and adapt to it and see how else we can do better in the future. Thank you so much for watching. This has been That's What Geeks Do. My name is Chrisley.
My name is Joktan.
And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Yes.
Stay gold.